What's up, guys? This is Justin Garcia at the Jungle Gym. This is my head kids instructor, Tony Morales. I had promised a couple of guys online that I put together this ChimPass. It's been called the Wilson Hayes Pass. It's been called the Roberto Tosi Pass. I saw Margarita do it the first time on an instructional tape. There's a lot of different people that do the pass, the opening. Obviously, anybody that does anything extensively, they have their own little tricks and such. I have mine. For the most part, nobody invents anything anymore. I don't care what anybody says. All right, there's somebody somewhere did it, whether it's on the streets of Rio in the 60s or in Japan during the 30s or 40s. So I like to tell people anything that I do a lot, I try to create names for. Some of them that I do a lot and I do well, I may attach my name to it for my guys, but I never, ever work under the assumption that look at what I created, look what I created. My ego doesn't need the pat on the back all the time, all right? And anybody that does say, oh, I created this, created that, give them a hug and just leave them alone because they have ego problems. All right, so as far as the pass is concerned, there's four major parts, okay? There's establishing an underhook, there's killing your opponent's hips, there's opening the guard or breaking the guard, and then there's advancing position, okay? Now when I say advancing position, it could be going to a standing position without your opponent having to close guard. It could be getting half guard, or it could be passing to mount, topside, what have you. All right. One of the great things about this guard is that I use it for gi, no-gi, and MMA. In MMA, it's great because you stay nice and tight, and it's hard for your opponent to hit you. It's a conservative pass position-wise when you don't feel like trading, blow for blow from the top guard. In gi, it helps you offset choke entries and stuff, regular cross chokes and things like that. And no-gi, where a lot of times it's a little tricky and slippery to try and also open somebody's guard, especially in my case where the majority of people are taller than you. In no-gi, it really gives you a control on them, limits their motion, and allows you to open that guard so you can advance position from there. Okay, so the first thing we're going to start off with, which you can just close guard from here, is establishing your underhook. Now, I like passing to my left, most people do, and if that's the case, I want to establish a right arm underhook. The easiest way to do that is just to lower my shoulder to the floor and allow an arm to come underneath. I don't need to grab his body. What I will say is to keep my hand palm down and try and bury it under his back. What's going to stop me from allowing him to re-pummel his underhook isn't me holding his arm super, super tight. Usually it's keeping my shoulder nice and snug to his chest. So from here, a very stable position, sliding my hand down to the floor, bringing my shoulder to his chest, and burying my hand. Another angle. Using Tony because he weighs about 80 pounds. It's easy to move around. Hands on the arms for now. This doesn't have to be the beginning of it, but just gives you a nice common, easy entry. Sliding my hand on the floor while my shoulder's going to his chest, burying the hand, usually palm down. Okay? If my opponent ever re-pummels once I'm here, well, I got to stop and reset. Okay? The 4 steps of the pass need to be in that order. If you're up to 3 and it all falls apart, you got to go back to 1 in most cases. So from here, I'm curling my hand in front of his face. I'm sliding my elbow back between his arm and his body, and then re-pummeling myself. What I don't want to do when he pummels is start creating space with my body, because that's space that he could either use for an arm lock, he could use to start sneaking out to my back, start setting up an arm bar. I like staying tight. He re-pummels, elbow in front, in between his arm and his body, and get it back. Okay? And that's step 1, establishing an underhook. Now, the second part, killing your opponent's hips. It's very important that when I do have that underhook, that I get off being right on top of my opponent's hip. The reason being, it's sort of like sitting on top of a stability ball. You could rock back and forth, and as he moves your base, it undermines what you're trying to do with your pass. So as soon as I do have my underhook, okay, and I'll say this other hand can stay on his arm. A lot of times I'll be going for the guard break. We'll do that next, but I'm definitely not going to come across. Nothing special I can do with this hand. For now, we'll just leave it on his arm. I established my underhook. Now I want to kill his hip. Killing his hip has me take my hips and I put them right on the inside of his hip towards the way I'm passing. The easiest way that I do it is stepping over with this far knee, making my body compensates by staying off the midline of his body. So a step, another step, and the leg on the underhook side straightens out. What that does is it brings my whole body on the inside of his hip. You should be so heavy on his hip that, bring this arm around for the triangle. I'm sorry, this leg, this right leg. He can't, okay? If I just take one little step back to the middle of his body, bring this arm back, it falls right over my shoulder easily. So I want to be laying on the inside of his leg. Open my arm, throw the leg over. He can't. Open your guard. Kick that foot up to the ceiling, your right foot. He can't. He doesn't have the range of motion. So again, different angle. I've established my underhook, killing the arm. My right knee, and I'm going to talk right-left just based on the side that I'm passing. Obviously, if you're going the other way, everything would be opposite. But my right knee is in the midline of his body. My left knee staying out, and I'm straightening my right leg. Okay? That makes me nice and tight. Again, try and get the triangle. And this is a little step you can make for your partner while you're trying to do it, just to make sure that you've established that second move, that second step, before you move on to your third. Okay? So far, we've established our underhook, and we've killed our opponent's hips. All right, now we've established 1 and 2. We're going to go to step 3, okay, which is actually opening his guard. At the end of 2, we were in this position. We've killed his hips. We have that underhook. My head is up right now because I'm trying to explain to you guys on the film, but normally I'd be having this head buried. You could say I'd be listening to his chest. And I want to take my free hand, what was free up until now, and actually make it do its job. That is grabbing the ankle of the leg that I'm laying on. Now, it may be a little awkward for me to just sort of crank my arm back and grab here. Maybe not, but I want to be able to instruct a way that's going to work in every circumstance. What I'm going to do from this position is raise the knee of my left leg, my foot still on the floor, raise the knee and allow my opposite leg, my right leg, to slide through. When I do that, my left foot is backing up to give me a stable post in case he tries to check my base back. Okay? So I'm nice and heavy still on his hip. I've slid through. Get the triangle with that right leg. Okay, you're still really obstructing his ability to go for that triangle. And once I get to this position, you'll find myself come a little bit off of his body. I'll compensate by keeping my shoulder nice and tight. So since I can't bring my head here, my shoulder's tight. That free hand is reaching back and grabbing his ankle. I'm careful not to lift my body off of his hip. I'm careful not to disengage and try and snag it like you're trying to grab a fish out of water. What I want to do is slide my hand down his leg and grab that ankle.